Welcome back, Scoreboard Addicts podcast. Here once again, I am filming from location, but TJ's back in the Scoreboard Addicts bar. TJ's right there. I'm Nick, and we're ready to talk some New York sports. What you drinking today, T?
Oh yeah, and just a Miller Lite.
That's nice.
Boring.
I'm drinking water.
Unenthused.
I'm drinking water.
I might as well be drinking water. Very unenthused. Very unenthused
That's
because
true.
of our New York Rangers. So not particularly happy this week.
Yeah, and with that being said, I like the unenthused. Let's. I love the organ. Great job, T.
Definitely.
Love the organ.
Yeah.
So talk to me, T. What's got you down and out?
Our New York Rangers get absolutely curb stomped in Game 7 against the Devils. A very uninspired first round of the playoffs for the Rangers, given the amount of firepower added to this team at the end of the regular season. We could have made a run. Given the fact, right, that just before that game, a day before, the Boston Bruins are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs by the Florida Panthers, kicking the door wide open for everybody left in the playoffs. Everybody thought Boston was going to literally backskate their way into the finals. And here comes the Florida Panthers absolutely playing upset. And the Rangers can't capitalize. Lose the game set. They didn't even show up, and that's my main issue. That's where all the contention comes from. That's where the vitriol on Twitter and the anger. One person commented that I'm a very nasty person because I believe I called them all a bunch of sea suckers. I thought
that would be a baseball game. I wouldn't call that. That wasn't unnecessary. You weren't a nasty person, maybe a little inappropriate, but like, who needs to be appropriate on fucking Twitter?
I mean, listen, if people can just go on Twitter and show their b-holes and stuff like that left and right, why can't I just say disturbing things?
I'm shocked you said b-holes.
I'm trying to keep it, we're not even 5 minutes in, and the Rangers rant just started, so I'm trying to, I'm trying to ease into it.
I like it. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you feel. So where do you think the shortcomings took place?
You know what? Let's start because it's easier to start where the shortcomings weren't. And that is Igor Shesterkin. Okay? That man showed up like he always shows up. Heart on his sleeve. Okay? He is the heart of a lion. That man deserves to be a champion. And I cannot help but feel like we are setting ourselves up to watch Henrik Lundqvist number 2, where we have the best goalie in the league. And now with Hank, don't get me wrong. Hank was up there, but there was a lot of other goalies that were very good. I think, hands down, bar none, Igor Shesterkin in the last 2 years is the best goalie, pound for pound, in the league. And if this guy does not get a Stanley Cup, for shame. And if I was him after the effort this team put on in the first round of the playoffs, I'd be walking in to Dolan's office and letting him know, listen, sit Drury down, figure this out. I want out because I can't waste my talent here any longer. It was uninspired. It was like as if they had better things to do. And honestly, I would be happier if Igor left and got a cup somewhere else because it's clear this team doesn't want it bad enough. It's not that we were outplayed. And me and my father had this argument while we were driving up to my future brother-in-law, Paulie's bachelor party. He kept saying, the Rangers are getting outplayed. The Rangers are getting outplayed. They would have had to show up in game 3 and 4 to get outplayed. They didn't show up. Game 3, okay, they showed up. Game 4, they were ghosts. They were traffic cones. It was embarrassing. Yep. Okay? And for them then to tie it up in game 6 and bring it in and force a game 7, which needed to happen, that saved a little face for them right there. But that effort in game 7 within the first 5 minutes, I knew we weren't winning the game. There was just no sense of urgency at all. Everybody was coasting around like it's a regular season game, like it didn't mean shit. Okay? Screw the fans sitting there watching at home. Okay? Screw the fans that paid all that money to go to MSG in games, 3-4 and 6, right? The hell with them. Paying upwards of $600 a ticket. That was actually the minimum of $600 a ticket to sit in the nosebleeds, to touch the ceiling. Okay? It was a complete FU to the fan base. It really was. So Igor Shesterkin, I have no issues with. I feel bad for him. I wish him nothing but the best. And if this team cannot deliver a cup for him, he needs to go elsewhere, because you cannot waste talent like that. We had to grit our teeth and bear it with Henrik Lundqvist, and God bless that man for all his years of service with the New York Rangers. But the fact that they let him down, I can't bear to watch that again. I cannot sit here and watch a great goaltender not get where they need to be, and that is the Stanley Cup Finals.
So I guess my question is, is there any credit to be given to the Devils?
The Devils are a great team, especially Jack Hughes. Great player. But as you saw in games 1 and 2, if the Rangers show up, they can play with them no problem. Yes, the Devils are faster. However, the Rangers had the edge when it came to goaltending. And all the Rangers had to do was use the offense and score more goals than the Devils, because Shesterkin is going to hold those pipes. You know what I mean? He's going to be a brick wall in there. But you can't get 1 goal or 2 goals. Okay? Game 1 and 2, 5 goals each game. Right? That's how you win, especially nowadays. You put more past the next guy. Okay? And when you have a stud in the net, he's going to hold that lead for you. But 1 goal isn't enough. And letting 2 or 3 in from the get-go because you're just allowing him to be barraged by shot after shot is an embarrassment. The Rangers were uninspired. The Devils, congratulations for them. But I don't think they were the better team. I think it was a great matchup. And I think it would have been a better matchup if the Rangers would have actually showed up for the entirety of the series. And they didn't. They showed up for 3 games. And the effort was clear.
So you feel like the Rangers just didn't put forth a better effort?
No, I thought the Rangers
were a better team.
I think, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Devils. Yes, they won. They move along. Got absolutely spanked by Carolina round 1, and we all know that we can handle Carolina, and we did so excellently this season. But that's neither here nor there. We didn't make it through. Sucks to be us. But I can't sit here and say that the Rangers got smoked by a better team. I think the Rangers screwed themselves. I think they shot themselves in the foot, and they never gave themselves a chance to compete. Okay, because the way they dominated in games 1 and 2 and game 6, right? Why can't they play with just half of that intensity in the other games that they got absolutely shellacked and embarrassed? It's just, dude, no effort to get to the corners, to get to the puck, to grind it out. They want to play the dump and chase. Okay, you have games 1 and 2 where the power play is just off the chain, right? It's lightning in a bottle, and then it disappears. It's you cannot add all the firepower offensively that we added at the end of the season and come away with the loss in round 1. You can't do it. Okay? And there's a lot of key players to absolutely bash. And whenever you're ready, we can go down the list and give them all grades. But it's just
so I don't know if we have time to go fully down the list and give everybody grades. What we can do, though, is we could talk about biggest disappointments. We could talk about, or better yet, keep them and get rid of them. Go down the list. I mean, grades is a little bit iffy, but let's say, keep them, get rid of them.
Let's just do pass or fail.
There we go. Pass or fail. I like that too.
Pass or fail. Kreider, 7 games, obviously, 6 goals, 3 assists, plus minus -2.
I'm gonna say fail, because in the games that we struggled in, he was a culprit. He was one of the reasons that we struggled. I mean, you see the games that we dominate in games 1 and 2, and he's in front of the net doing his Kreider thing, and you sit there and watch games 3 and 4, and it's like, where did he go? Why are you not in front of the net? You belong in front of the net. Why are you not in front of the net?
I agree. I don't think he failed as hard as other people, but he didn't come through when everything was on the line, when the chips were down. He folded like the rest of them. So I'm going to give him the F. I am. Screw it. You know what? Great. 9 points. That's awesome. -2. That's pretty bad.
Well, not only 9 points, it's 9 points, and what? 5 of them were in the first 2 games, and that's it.
4 power play goals, in the first 2 games. Insane. So, moving on, Adam Fox, 0 goals, 8 assists, plus minus 0. Honestly, as much and that he, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not being fair. I don't give a shit. I'm a pissy Rangers fan. He gets the F. He gets the F for Game 7, lackadaisically just skating the puck in our own fucking zone, and he gets taken away from him. And now we're on a power play, and they score shorthanded. You get the F. You cost us that game single-handedly, hands down. That lackadaisical bullshit. Let me stand here with the puck. Why are your legs not moving? Why aren't you skating? That's laziness.
Didn't he get his pocket picked too?
He was just standing there in his own zone, waiting for them to go on the power play.
Wait, no, but I'm talking about. Wait. Are we talking about the same? We're talking about the same play, aren't we?
Game 7, first goal for the Devils. He gets the.
He got beat twice in his own zone.
The first one was the most egregious one.
Well, I'm saying is he got his pocket picked on the first one, and then he got juked out of his freaking skates and fell down.
Yes.
And then I want to say Key got beat, and then Key got beat on a short. I feel like it was shorthanded too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean,
he gets the F.
Listen, you're made and you're broken in clutch. All right, Derek Jeter made a whole career of being clutch. Eli Manning made a whole career of being clutch twice. He was only clutch twice in his life, but made a whole career off of it. And you know what? You're right. Game 7 is where heroes are made and legends are forged. So you're right. I give him that.
Real quick, and I think this is a quick one because it's just Patrick Kane, 1 goal, 5 assists, plus minus 0. I'm giving him a pass because you got exactly what you needed to get at Patrick Kane. You knew he was coming in. He wasn't the goal scorer of old, but he moved the puck around, and I don't think he was a detriment to the team. He was exactly what you thought you were getting. He's an older player. He has a bum hip, and he showed up. He showed up enough. I cannot place the blame on Patrick Kane.
So I'm going to give him no grade, only because you're right. We got what he wanted, what we needed from him, right? What rather we expected. But I just felt like he slowed everybody down because he was playing with a lower body injury. And I can sit here and say, like, hey, listen, he had a lower body injury, but I feel like it's every year now that somebody that's supposed to show up has a lower body injury, and that's why they don't play well in the playoffs. And are we always going to use that?
When it comes to Patrick Kane, right, especially on the power play, in the offensive zone, that puck is stuck to his stick like glue. He doesn't dish it out. He doesn't give it up around the boards and it comes back out of the zone. He holds on to that thing until he has a pass or he takes a shot. He doesn't give it up. He's not scared. He brings the defense in and then moves the puck to somebody that's now wide open. He knows how to play like a veteran. Where our guys, certain guys, especially like Panarin, which we'll get to, was just, he couldn't keep the puck on his stick if he had Stickum and Super Glue and Gorilla Glue and Flex Seal and whatever the fuck else you want to throw at him. So I have nothing bad to say about how Patrick Kane played. Given
from what I saw, I just felt like, again, he had a lower body injury. You commend the guy for playing. It just looked like it was slow watching plays develop around him. Very slow.
Yeah.
And we were getting torched. We were getting torched the whole way. And again, it's not his fault. You're right. It's not his fault. But at the same time, in my head, I'm like, I'll give him an incomplete rather than a pass or a fail, just because he wasn't a detriment because of him. He was just a detriment because of his situation. But moving on.
Tarasenko, 3 goals, 1 assist, -1. I think Tarasenko did fine. I think we got him to do one thing only, and that was to score goals. He scored 3. That's significantly more than the rest of the team, other than Kreider. The problem with Kreider is when you have 9 points and you end up -2, that's being out there for a lot of fucking goals against. So Tarasenko being -1 but generating 4 points doesn't hurt me as much. And the goals that he got were I would say pretty good, and they were timely goals. So I think he was in the game. Yeah. He was in every game, and he was doing what you want to see as a Ranger fan. Shoot the fucking puck. Shoot the puck, right? And that's what you got out of him. He scored 3 goals. Listen, would I have liked 5, 6, 7, 20 goals? Yeah, sure. 3 goals, nothing to scoff at. I mean, a new addition to the team, late addition, who we're obviously not going to be able to pay and hold on to. But I have he gets a pass for me.
I agree. I'd give him a pass too. He had some key goals.
Yeah. Mika Zibanejad, 1 goal, 3 assists, -1, a big fat F, a huge F. Okay, a massive F. Because you want to talk about a guy that you need to rely on and need to lean on in the playoffs. And there was 0 Mika magic. 0. He was lost out there. Dude,
he left it all in
half
March.
the time you didn't even notice that he was out there and it was his shift. He was doing nothing.
No, I think, you know what? He was doing something. The same thing they always do, where he just lines up on the left side of the net. They pass it over to him, and he takes the big slap shot. And every single time, he's hitting freaking, what's his face, square in the freaking chest. He's hitting Schmidt square in the chest every single time. And how's it go? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It was insane watching him on the ice. And again, it may not be his fault. But if you line up the same thing over and over again and it just doesn't work, when are you going to sit there and try something else? Dude, line up on the other side, for Christ's sake. Anything else. I saw him line up on the left and either shoot wide or right into Schmidt's chest at least 6 times. And I'm like, really, dude? And it was in 1 game. I'm like, come on, man. Like, and how many did he miss? Just made no contact on a huge swing.
I know.
Moving
I'm going to lump these guys together real quick because I think they're all passes. Philip Hedl, Lindgren, and Capo. Hedl, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, +1. Lindgren, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, +3. Capo, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, +1. Kako, we want him to be more offensive, but for what you get out of him this season and the player that he is right now, not the player that we're hoping him to be, I'm not going to fault him. I will tell you, out of everybody that was out there, he played, I think, consistently with the most intensity and was showing up and was the first guy to the corners, was getting dirty in the boards, and was kind of in everybody's faces in the games that they were losing. Like, trying to get in the mix, get a little nasty. Hedl, I got nothing bad to say about him. He played well. And then Lindgren played phenomenal, as always. That dude, if you want to make excuses for people being hurt, that guy's been hurt for 2 fucking years. Okay? Let's call it what it is. That guy, like, if this was the Star Wars universe, he would just be sitting in the back of the tank in between games. Like, he wouldn't be allowed out. Okay? That man is just a walking bandage. Okay? And he still shows up. And his goal, my God, that top shelfer. Oh, what a thing of beauty that was. That got me so excited.
Chef's kiss.
Listen, those 3 guys, they all get a pass. I mean, and somebody else I would like to lump in with them is Mikkola, 0 goals, 2 assists, +2. Played hard, wasn't a detriment to the team. I think you got a good effort out of him. Another pass. I just want to run this along because I want to get to the shining, I would say, turd in the mix, and that is Artemi Panarin. Fucking bread man. Shit sandwich. He's shit sandwich, right?
Moldy bread.
Moldy, shitty bread. 0 goals, 2 assists, -2. He couldn't hit, I don't even want to say he couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat. Dude, he was missing from the hash marks by 4 feet. And last year, when he was a ghost in the Penguins series, right? Everybody's like, oh, listen, he's hurt. He has a fucked up wrist, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. What's the excuse this year? What excuse do you want to come up with? Because he didn't look hurt. He didn't look hurt at all. He wanted so bad, right, for Kane to come here. He wanted to play with Kane so bad. He couldn't bury a single pass from Patrick Kane. So it's, dude, if as bad as I wanted to rip into Zibanejad, it's 10 times worse for Panarin because he would have been better off sitting at home. I would have rather somebody come up from Hartford and just play with absolute grit and heart and no offensive talent, because it clearly offensive talent doesn't mean shit if you don't want to play. And it didn't seem like he wanted to play.
Sitting here, talking about guys coming up from Hartford, we're talking about guys that were recently drafted and now they're with the Rangers. Rangers obviously going to have not a great pick in the draft, but moving on from the season, we have the draft to look forward to. Maybe some guys come up from Hartford, maybe somebody like Brendan Othman, Cooley, somebody like that coming up. And that leads us to our next segment, talking about drafts. And we welcome our buddy Gino, also known as Italy Jet on the Twitters. Welcome to the show, Gino. How's it going?
Good. How you guys doing? You guys look great. Love the jersey, TJ. Love the jersey.
Thank you, Sarah. You know what? I couldn't put on the Rangers jersey. I couldn't embarrass myself any longer this season. So right to the Jets. It's Jets time. That's it. I mean, it is still Nick's season, but I'm a bigger Jet fan than I'm a Nick fan, so it's Jet time.
I'm a Heat fan, so we have a little bit of rivalry going on.
Fair enough.
How does that happen?
Oh man, that's the story of my life. My teams are everywhere, so so I get it.
So Gino, obviously the draft last week.
Yes,
I think as I'm a Jets fan as well. I'm not where I'm on location right now. I'm not where I normally am at. I'm usually at a location much similar to what you've got going on in your background. But this year, for me at least, as a Jets fan, it was different. It was different being a Jets fan at the draft. Usually, we're sitting there, we're praying, and we're hoping. And me and Rich Eisen are sitting there going, "I hope we get something real good. I hope we get something real good. We need it this year to be relevant." This year doesn't feel like that. This year, it's a little different. You got a little Aaron Rodgers magic, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. He's showing up at Rangers games. He's showing up at Knicks games. Just a little Sauce Gardner out there. Well, Garrett Wilson's out there. Quinnen's doing his thing. Got Brees, little Alan Lazard in the mix. We got some stuff. Mackay coming back. So the draft comes up.
Let's set that up before we get into the draft. Going into the draft, Gino, with what the Jets gave up to secure Rodgers and bring him in, it seemed like they were destined to bring him in, and it was just kind of what kind of pieces and chips that we were going to give up. What would you say? A lot of people out there on Jets Twitter think that we got absolutely fleeced in that deal.
I don't think we got fleeced. I think in the first day I was just numb. You know what? Hell, I'm just going to say the first week I was numb. I was just going back and forth, just thinking, what is this trade going to look like? And does this make sense for both teams? And I think it absolutely makes sense for both teams. We knew there was going to be a couple picks this year. Maybe some type of player would add in. I was thinking maybe Corey Davis or Lawson or Mims. And we knew there was going to be a next year pick. Now, the only thing that concerned me was that 65%. If he plays 65%, then they get a first rounder out of that. That was the only one I was like, he's going to play 65% more than that. So I kind of like the package that we got for him. And also the only thing that I would be mad about is that next year's pick. But overall, if a team's ready to win now, even though he didn't have last couple seasons, he hasn't been that great, but he's still been good. He's still relevant. And he's still
hold on, Gino. Hold on. He wasn't good last season. The previous season, he was MVP. He was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but during the Super Bowl though, his Super Bowl runs, like he wasn't doing that magic like he was back then. He only he had a good running game. He had a great running game, and he had Devontae. He didn't have those kind of guys this year in the wide receiver position. He had a lot of young guys, but he loved Lazard still, and that's one of the reasons why he's with the Jets too.
Randall Cobb as well is now with the Jets.
Yeah, I think they're just bringing him in just to bring some guys in to have Aaron Rodgers boys there. I mean, we got to know tackle Turner from him as well. Cobb, I think, is going to be better than Berrios as well because of how much he knows the system. And I don't think he's going to keep dropping the ball every time a kick and punt returner keeps coming. But he's going to be a good mentor for the wide receivers and Hardman. Hardman was a really good wide receiver when he was with the Chiefs, but his injury history, that's what kind of derailed him. And now I think it's going to change. I really think Hardman's going to bounce back.
Do you think these additions from as former Green Bay Packers are more because of Aaron Rodgers or possibly because of our new offensive coordinator who also has some experience with these guys? They know his system. Do you think it's about 50-50 or is it all Aaron Rodgers' wish list?
I don't believe in the wish list. I think he even said in California, he mentioned some guys that he would like to play with. He didn't put like a timetable on it. He didn't force it. He just mentioned who he has. I don't believe in the whole wish list. I just think they're giving them a better chance to win with what Hackett has for this offense. And also, I love the new coaches we brought in on the offensive side of the ball as well. I think they're just bringing people that fit the system.
Okay. I like
Speaking
that.
about the system, I mean, I'm more of a fan of a more traditional quarterback. And when it was very much up in the air before it seemed like they were making the deal for Aaron Rodgers, I wasn't in love with Derek Carr. And Lamar Jackson, for me, was like a toss-up. While I think he's an amazing quarterback, it's just it's something about quarterbacks that run that always scares the shit out of you as to one hit and there goes the season. So I think Aaron Rodgers being a traditional quarterback fits exactly who we have right now in the young talent on the team. And then again, now Zach Wilson has somebody that he can learn from. And if he can't learn from him, it's see you later anyway. And I guess we're drafting another quarterback in 2 years because it's this. He is in position A right now for a backup. You could sit there all day and say maybe it was a little unfair to throw him right into the fire. Okay. And being from where he was in college and how many snaps he played and kind of that step up from college to the NFL game. Okay. We expected more out of him, but at this point, if he could take a backseat and be positive and be mature about it and learn from Aaron Rodgers, I think he's setting himself up to be a great quarterback if there was that potential of being a great quarterback. I think this is the stepping point. If he's ever going to be a good quarterback, he's in a great spot right here.
And I 100% agree because Zach Wilson is a good quarterback, but he had the yips. He was going through a bunch of stuff, and his arm strength is actually pretty good. It's just he just was not consistent enough. No confidence, and now it's a big stage coming from BYU to the NFL. BYU quarterbacks sometimes are just not that successful when it comes to the next level, but he did play well. But the only thing now is what quarterbacks with the Jets have always been an issue with is we didn't develop them right. And now we have a chance to start that over. And now I think when Aaron Rodgers come in, because that's his guy, his favorite player, that's his idol, whatever he wants to call him, I think it's going to be a good situation after Rodgers retires if Zach can get there. And we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, so talking about starting over, the season starts over when the draft starts.
Right.
The draft starts. The Jets are on the clock. 15 overall after having swapped with the Packers.
Right.
What are you thinking right there?
I wanted offensive. Anybody on the offensive line, center, guard, tackle, didn't matter. Or I wanted a D tackle. Sometimes Sal loves to get those edges. He loves big guys, even at the linebacker position. And I was really shocked to hear that they wanted Gibbs at 15. There was a rumor going around that, but I just didn't know how much of a factor that would have been because the Lions took him. And then the Patriots, I know people are saying that Patriots screwed us over. Yeah, they did. There's no doubt in my mind Belichick screwed us over at that jump up to get what they wanted. But I'm happy. If that option is not there, you go after and you get someone on D tackle and edge. And Will McDonald was my first choice. I wanted Cansey and I wanted Nolan Smith, but I'm actually happy with what we have with Will McDonald. He's bendy, he jumps over cars, and he gets over and he gets to the quarterback really quickly. He had a lot of tackles last year. He started almost every game, and he was solid. I'm actually excited because of Huff and Lawson. They only got one more year left. Do we need to pack him in now? And I think he's going to make an impact.
Yeah, so I mean, with McDonald, 34 sacks in 48 career games. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. He is 24 years old. That's one thing that I've seen a couple people write in articles. He's only 240 pounds. He's only 240 pounds. What does that mean when you're a beast at 240 pounds? Like,
I mean, he's got a lot to learn. You just got to beef him up, but I'm not worried about him though.
no.
And Mel Kiper loved him so much. That's good for me. No, I'm just kidding. But like, it's I saw a lot of this college stuff, and the thing is, I think Saleh. This is a long shot, fellas. So don't quote me on this big time, but I think he's trying to get his own Joey Bosa. I really think he's trying to develop someone like that at the edge.
You know, it's funny, T. You say they say he's only 240 pounds. Like, what does that mean when somebody's talented? I think of that scene in Draft Day with Kevin Costner when he goes. They said that Elway threw the ball too hard. They said that Montana was too small.
Right, and then Manning didn't have an arm. Yeah,
and none of it seemed to matter. Why not? And you know what? It's 100% right, because if you look today, Eddie George is too big to play running back. In his day, he was too tall to play running back, and yet somehow it didn't seem to matter. Somebody like Darren Sproles, like Henry. Darren Sproles was too small to play in the NFL. Right. It didn't matter, you know. It just, you got to find that little thing. Like, what does it matter? Because I remember somebody like Aaron Maben was too light to play end. Yeah. I know. I just pulled it back. Right, Penn State. Aaron Maben. Wow. He was struggling to stay at like 220. He needed to be 250, and he was struggling to stay at 220. And we're really going to sit here and split hairs about freaking Will McDonald, who's 240. He needs to pack on maybe another 10 pounds.
Right. He's going to – I really do think he's going to be good. I really think it's going to be good. I'm not worried about it at all now. So, second round pick, Joe Tippmann. I love the pick. Love it. Yes.
Talk to me.
Listen, Joe Tippmann was my fourth guy I wanted, just in case, those two Ohio State guys left, and also I forgot the other guy. But I want him because Wisconsin always produces great offensive line caliber players. And also, I bet you Aaron Rodgers had something to do with this. He went to Wisconsin. He went to Packer games. Rodgers knew him before this. I think that was not only a big JD move because he loves big guys. He's very good in the run game. He moves over right to left constantly with that. And that's what we need, because Breece Hall is going to be a beast coming out of his injury. At least we hope and pray, knock on wood.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's a great pick. I love it. He's just what the Jets need. It's going to be a center competition. You can move my tackle, guard, but I don't want him to. I want him to be a center for a long time.
Surprisingly tall for a center, 6'6".
Yes. Very big.
Yeah, I love the pick. He'll probably start. So obviously don't have a round 3 pick. Traded away. Round 4, yes. Carter Warren, offensive tackle, Pittsburgh.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I was shocked. He was in my top 15, 20. He's been injured a lot the last 2 years, knee injuries, and he's a New Jersey boy. That's great. That's cool. Bringing some talent from there, but he struggles moving right to left, and he struggles in a lot of different ways with his because people are getting around him easily. And I think that's one of those things with the injuries comes into play. But I do have faith that he will be a good player, but you got to give him more time. He says that he's healthy. He says he's fully healthy. He's ready to go. But the thing about him is, I think we need to give him some more time. Have him redshirt this year, and maybe next year, maybe he can go full throttle, because we're just getting a lot of players right now. So I give that about a C.
Okay.
And you know what? You're right, because maybe a redshirting would be the best thing, because you know what happens when these young guys get in there and they're trying to make a team?
Yes.
Things go bad every single time. If you have a little bit of a tear, it becomes a full-on, blown-out something. So, I actually love that idea, and it's hard to be a mature kid coming out of college and make adult decisions right away that's going to affect the rest of your career, when all you want to do is be hungry for that ball and get on the field. But I think that's the best case scenario for him if you want to develop into a pro player that's going to be here for a while.
I couldn't agree more.
So round 5, running back Israel Abanikanda from Pittsburgh. And he's a local kid too, and he's from Jersey, isn't he? Or am I crazy?
Brooklyn.
He's from Brooklyn. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, absolutely better. I actually like the pick. But what does this mean for somebody like Michael Carter or Bam Knight?
I love this pick. He was my fourth guy I wanted. And he has the burst of speed that is kind of like a Brees Hall. And when he breaks those tackles, he's 20 yards down the field. You can't catch him. The only thing that does worry me a little bit, he's not good in the passing game, and he hasn't gotten that many touches. But he is a really big stud when he does break it and then going downfield and is smart, and he's tall. He's big. He's a big guy. So that's some upside, but he's going to be awesome. I am really looking forward to it. I think he's going to be running back 2 eventually. Not now, because Bam Knight's a little ahead of him, but Michael Carter, if he has a bounce back year, that would be great, but he just looked off last year. Carter did not look like the same guy he was year 1, and it's going to be an open competition, but I have confidence in Izzy that he's going to do it. Running back 2, great pick. I give it a C+.
Nice. And then round 6, we're looking at linebacker Zaire Barnes from Western Michigan.
Yes. I didn't really know too much about him until I really dived into him, and I was like, oh, who's this guy? And I looked at him, I'm like, okay, he's a special teams guy. He could be a special teams guy for now, and I know how much Sal loves linebackers. Maybe he could delve into like a Greenlaw, like he was with San Francisco eventually, like next year, maybe later on this year. But overall, he's going to fight for a roster spot. Sherwood's still there. And then Nazardine, I think he can beat out Nazardine. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with his growth, because I think Mosley might be gone next year. We just extended Quincy. We're still thinking about getting Quan back. So I think right now it's a solid backup for a spot going in training camp OTAs, but I give this a little bit of a C-.
So do you think his playing at Western Michigan, obviously not a big school, do you think that has any effect on his ability to play at the next level?
I don't, because anything could happen. You have so many leagues all over the world now, so many new talent all over the world. Anybody can come in at any moment. That's what the XFL for me has proved, that you can be on the worst team in the world and be the best player on the team. And if you're in the right system and you're willing to coach and work together, anything's possible.
And we, as T and I know, we've talked to Coach Mike Westhoff, former special teams coordinator for the Jets.
Me too. I've had him on my pod a couple times.
Yeah, special teams is a big deal,
Yes,
so you need the guy around, and we single-handedly lost the game last year because of special teams.
Yeah.
So if he can play special teams at a high level, I welcome him. Round 6, Jarek Bernard-Converse, DB from LSU. I like those Southeastern Conference and ACC guys.
Yeah, me too.
Especially for DBs.
Yeah, and he could play everywhere. He played mostly at Oklahoma State. He played mostly safety. So then when he went to LSU, because he wanted that last chance to go play at LSU, he played corner. But he can definitely make some noise, because safety position were pretty thin, and I don't know if they're going to move Clark over there to free safety, because you already got what's his name? Woodward? No. Chuck Clark. Who's the other guy? I blanked on his name.
Oh, Whitehead?
Whitehead. There you go. Why the heck did I say Woodward?
I was on the wrong side. I was like Joyner. I was on the wrong side of the field. Whitehead.
So they already have Whitehead. They're going to give him one more chance. If he doesn't do good this year, I think he's gone next year. So I think Chuck Clark has you can either move him over. The conference is going to fight for a spot. I think he's going to try and take someone's job, because they love Adams over there. Joyner is gone. You still got Parks. Parks can make some noise too. I think this is just one of those things where he's going to fight for a roster spot, but he's got a lot of experience with corner and safety and being an overall D-back. And that's what Saleh loves about bringing in those guys, is versatility.
Shout out Will Parks, Philly Will, one of my favorite Twitter personalities out there.
Nice.
Round 6. This is my favorite pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Zach Kuntz, tight end, Old Dominion. No relation to Rusty Kuntz.
Right.
Zach Kuntz.
Right.
He scored off the charts for the overall athletic scale. Like I saw the numbers and I was like, holy shit, this guy's going to be a stud. And if it can translate onto the football field, look out.
He's a really interesting prospect. 6'7", We played first 3 years of college at a different location that he wasn't getting some time. Then he went to ODU and he popped off. But the reason why I think he didn't go in the first 3 rounds is because of his injuries. He had an injury history last year. He missed some games, but he was on the field. He got the ball. He got touchdowns. He's really long legs, really long arms, and he's a character. He is just a funny dude. He's a locker room dude. And let's be honest, Joe Douglas loves those tight ends. Aaron Rodgers loves tight ends. He could be another weapon right there. And if they want to put him at wide receiver, they can, but I don't think they're going to happen with that. But he is one of my favorite guys. I'm rooting for him, but it's going to be tight, though. Tight end room is going to be crunch.
I was going to say, we're right now
crunch.
carrying 4 tight ends going into.
And now a 5th one.
Yeah.
5. We got 5 because you got to remember Hennessy. Hennessy technically is a tight end.
Right.
Well, and also they just picked up a guy from the draft too, the undrafted guy they brought in training camp, but who knows? He might just be a practice squad guy. Who knows? So,
did you feel like this year's draft was a little underwhelming? I really felt like this year's draft was going to be a lot of 3rd and 4th guys were going to be the beefy guys. Everything up top, like everybody got really excited about these guys. And I watched college football, and I kind of just sat there and I was like, when the quarterbacks are this freaking mid, then that means that this draft class is pretty bad. I'm looking at guys like Anthony Richardson getting drafted, 4th overall, 5th overall. Why?
Colts, yeah.
Why? I've never seen a player get so much hype that played so poorly. Like, I literally watched him play against Florida State. I'm a Florida State fan. 9 for 27 for under 200 yards. And they had the audacity. People had the nerve to sit there and go, well, he was okay. That's not okay. That is Tim Tebow playing for the Broncos bad. 9 for 27 for under 200 yards? He was 14 for 35 against Kentucky. Are we serious right now? He played at Florida. Oh, well, his receivers weren't that good. He played against Kentucky, for Christ's sake. We're not talking basketball. We're talking football. Like, what are we doing here? And this guy went top 5 because of his athletic ability. Because everybody knows if you're a good athlete, you can play quarterback as it directed. Like we said, Peyton Manning, most amazing athlete we've ever seen, right? That's why he was so good at playing quarterback. Tom Brady, amazing athlete. Like, completely, he is Carl Weathers as far as I'm concerned, right? That's why he played quarterback at such a high level. So, like, what are your thoughts on the overall draft scale and the talent that came out of this pool? Granted, we could all be wrong about everything, right? I mean, it's the draft.
You know, this draft was really interesting because there wasn't like players like 10 players that were like really, really good. Last year, there's all kinds of superstars in that draft last year. This year, you can only arguably say that Carter from the Bulldogs was the best player in the draft. And then you can make an argument about Robinson from Texas that he was the 2nd best player in the draft. But I love the draft. I love college football. And honestly, there was a lot of really good O-linemen. There was a lot of really good tight ends in this draft and defense positions. So you're going to get depth no matter what, but there's not going to be that one guy that was just like, oh, he's going to be amazing. He's just changed the game for the NFL for a long time. No, there was certain pieces, but I think there was still depth. And every year, you're not going to hit it every year. Last year was just a fluke for us, I feel like. Like, he just kept jumping up and getting good people, and I trust JD to know what he's doing, but this year was just all about depth, not at a superstar level.
Now, do you think when a draft like this doesn't have that sexiness factor to it, that everybody's clamoring over 5, 6, 7 different superstar guys, or at least what they think are going to be superstars, does that take pressure off the guys that go, especially in the first round, as to, you know what, just go out there and play and make a name for yourself because nobody was hyping you up to begin with?
Yes and no, because you're always going to have that chip on your shoulder every round because then they get pissed off, they get in their feelings, and then they're going to say things that they regret, or it could be a motivator for them. I mean, I look at the Joey Porter video with his dad, Joey Porter Jr., and how it pissed him off that he didn't go in the first round, but then it ended up working out for him with the Steelers, right? It's always where he wanted to go, where his father played, and just like Izzy with the Jets, just like Izzy's father said, anybody but the Giants, and he got this wish. So it's so funny, but yeah, I think it just motivates them more. I think the last 5 years we've seen so much talent from everywhere, because when I was a kid, there wasn't really as much talent as it is now. Like, anybody can come from anywhere. And now I think it's a chip. just a chip on the shoulder, give him an opportunity. And just like Bam Knight, undrafted, now he's one of our best players. Who thought?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to a positive move for us to move forward in life. Gino, where can we find you at?
So I'm Italy Jet on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp. You can text me on WhatsApp for some collabs as well. But yeah, I do all kinds of Jets content. I do baseball and soccer content as well. And yeah, that's me. Always good chatting it up with you guys.
Who's your baseball? Who's your soccer?
Okay, so AC Milan is my main one. And then I do West Ham content, and Toronto FC is my other favorite team. But baseball, you might not like me. You from New York?
Yeah,
from New York. Okay,
of course.
Where are you guys from? And maybe not where you're from. Who's your teams?
Yankees.
Yankees.
Red Sox.
Oh,
how dare you? That's just despicable.
I mean, you know what? At this
I'm
point,
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
I don't know how, it's weird that you're a Jets fan, and you could be a Cardinals fan for Christ's sake.
I do like the Cardinals, but I like the Red Sox more.
At this point, I mean, it's early in the baseball season, but neither team are absolutely doing anything special. So there's no point to shit talk each other right now.
We barely play each other anymore.
Listen,
we don't. Yeah,
they changed the whole division dynamic. We barely play each other now.
I know.
But that being said, we'll thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for talking.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we'll catch each other. We'll catch each other on the Twitters and probably make cameos on each other's shows. And look forward to an awesome football season coming up.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. And keep in touch. And you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Look for Gino on the Twitters, on the Facebooks, and everything else. And as we do, we'll go to our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code Scoreboard to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
And that's Underdog Fantasy for all your fantasy needs as we talk to Gino about the baseball Yankees and baseball Red Sox, unfortunately. That brings us to our next quick segment. I love it. I absolutely love it. Baseball in New York is a sad, sad time to be alive right now. I don't think I've ever seen it this bad. Both the Yankees and the Mets in the basement. I mean, it's just they both had World Series aspirations. Actually, the Mets aren't in the basement right now, but for a little bit they were. They had the worst record in the National League earlier this week. Yankees are in the basement, at least in the AL East, but are still at 17 and 15. Everybody in the AL East is over 500, which is always a good thing if you're looking at competitiveness in your division and all that stuff. Bad news when you're in the basement, even if you are 500. So what do you think is going on with the Yankees and what's wrong with them?
Dude, honestly, it's funny because as much as I would love to jump on the shit on Cashman bandwagon, I don't think that's the issue. Would I have liked to see better moves come in this offseason? Absolutely. But you know what? The defensive, this guy's had a winning record for the past, 10 years? I mean, how much can you really blame on him? It's a catch-22, right? How much of it is Cashman's fault and how much of it is Hal not being his father and wanting to spend where they can spend? And I think the problem lies with ownership and not really on Cashman. I think that Cashman's being told what they're looking to do and how much money they're looking to spend. And he's watching how this fill wheelbarrows up with friggin' cash and coin and diving into it like Scrooge McDuck and not wanting to spend any of it. And he's doing the moves that he's pretty much being allowed to make, I think, at this point. It's just, we want so badly for Hal to be George, and it's never going to happen. And it's just a business at this point. So it's just, I don't know. I want to be pissed off, but to just direct it at Cashman, I think is just placing your anger in the wrong spot. where it could be doled out in multiple different places. I think where the anger comes from is when people like Cashman want to sit out there and probably have to shield for their own organization and tell you things like, oh, yeah, Aaron Hicks, great player. We need to keep him. Yeah, he's going to be awesome this year. Like, he has yet to ever be awesome. So stop it. Donaldson's going to be your starting third baseman. Yeah, he's going to be great. Cut the shit. IKF is tremendous player. Yeah. Shortstop all the way, starter. Just come on. What are we doing here? Just like stop treating us like we're stupid, because everybody that has any TV or like catches glimpse of it as they like drive past a TV on in like a shop window somewhere or stopped into a bar to get an adult beverage and the Yankee game happens to be on, you can make those assertions right away as to who doesn't deserve to be out there on that diamond. So don't treat us like we're stupid. Like, don't sit there and run these guys out there and tell us that they're awesome. Don't piss on my head and tell me that it's raining, because it's not the case.
I forgot Donaldson was on this team. Completely forgot. Thanks for bringing that up. I just remembered that. Now I'm upset about it.
Dude, I'm just in a pissy mood nonstop since the Rangers lost. So.
You nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. Yankees win one. Yeah, I believe they won yesterday, didn't they? They won yesterday, and they walked off. Yeah, they walked it off against the Cleveland Indians. Final 10. I believe they took 2 out of 3 away from Cleveland, which is not something really to hang your hat on, show anything. No. They don't have a closer right now. That's upsetting. Or maybe they do, and our manager just refuses to use the appropriate guy in that role, because Clay Holmes ain't it. No. Not anymore. Something happened to that kid, and he lost it. A couple guys need TJ surgery. We're talking about the name escapes me right now, but I just saw it hit the other day. Oh, Trevino. Lou Trevino needs TJ. He's out for the rest of the season. Obviously, Rodon's had I hate saying his name, Rodon. Like, he calls himself Rodon because he's from North Carolina, but I know that it's Rodon, but I don't want to mispronounce his name. Like, if he wants it Rodon, then it's Rodon. I'm not in any position to tell him how to pronounce his own fucking name, even though I know for a fact that it's Spanish and his name is fucking Rodon. But whatever. He wants to call himself Rodon. It's like Matt Diaz. Like, dude, your last name is Diaz, bro. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, moving forward. Rodon's had another setback with his back. I don't know. I guess he's afraid to carry the squad, but he doesn't have to, because Garrett Cole's doing that all by himself. Garrett Cole's probably the best pitcher in baseball right now.
It seems like it.
And that's the only day of the week where I'm sitting there going, yeah, we're probably going to win today.
Yeah. Remember that feeling that we used to have it like 3 out of 5 during the week? Like,
yeah, it was awesome.
What happened to that?
Those are the days. But talking about Gino being a Red Sox fan, let's show a little Red Sox magic. Olivia Pichardo, first woman to play in NCAA
D1
baseball. Right? Yep, D1 baseball. Threw out the first pitch at the Red Sox game just the other day, and we're going to take a look at how that went. And the pitch just a bit inside. That was some borderline 50 centage right there. That was pretty bad.
That's how you set women back another generation.
So now I commend her if she's playing at the collegiate level, and she is playing in the Ivy League. So we're not talking like she's playing for Vanderbilt or Texas or Florida State. She's playing in the Ivy League, but still playing against males at a high level of she's wicked smart. She's going to Brown. She is wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart. But I was ready to sit there and be like, well, she probably plays like second base or something. She's a pitcher.
Oh no.
So that first pitch.
So
like
I don't want to I don't want to pile on. It's very fun to make the obvious misogynistic jokes and the Boston jokes. It's fun. And you know what? People get upset by that, but we're just having fun. I know nothing about this girl. I don't watch D1 baseball, rather.
If she was a man, we'd be ripping her too. Like I said, 100%. That was close to 50. 50 Cent is the all-time worst.
Oh,
and he's
horrible.
A man.
Horrible. Oh, Baba Booey throwing at the Mets' first pitch from the Howard Stern show. It was brutal. I don't want to ride her too bad because you know what? Nerves, being out in front of the crowd. You never know. It's easy. You get a little sweat in the palm. You know what? It slipped out of her hand. She didn't have the spider tack to go to. Didn't get to, But listen, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. The ball had some zip on it. It did.
I think that's where she messed up. Listen, just get it over.
I think she tried to fire it in there.
There's only one guy that I've ever seen get on the mound and really try to throw some heat. His name was Nolan Ryan, and he threw it like 83 miles an hour at
I think it was like 86,
something like that.
dude.
86 at like
and
78 years old.
No, he was like 66, 67 years old or something like that.
Whatever. He was old, and he was still throwing heat.
Yeah, dude. He could start right now for the Yankees. Let's call it what it is.
Lay it in there. The best first pitch I've ever seen is Bush, right?
Yeah.
World Series 2001, where in the bulletproof vest, Yankee Stadium, eagle flies down, and President of the United States throws a strike in there from the top of the hill. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Chills. Ooh, chills.
Dude, I'm pretty sure like 3 blocks away, the only tree that was in the Bronx got hit by a stroke of lightning, and somebody formed a bat out of that. But
I digress. Best of luck to Olivia Pichardo. And before we go, let's talk a little something. We're not big basketball fans on this show, but we are big basketball supporters, especially when it comes to the New York City Knickerbockers.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time to talk about it. I wish I knew more about it.
Let's just lay it down. You got the Knicks. They lose game 1, 108-101, and then come back and beat the Heat 111-105. So, I mean, right there, that says that's a pretty damn even matchup. The one thing that's throwing me off is now, obviously the Rangers season ended Monday. Okay. And the Knicks played Tuesday, and they don't play again until Saturday night. Is that not weird? Do you think they built in like that? I guess that space in case the Rangers moved on to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah. I think a lot of that does play a role because a lot of these hockey arenas and basketball arenas are one and the same. Right. They're going to play at the same place because it's available. You can shift it back and forth pretty easily. The capacity is about the same for both. What I thought was wild was the Knicks played Sunday in the afternoon, then played a night game on Tuesday. And then there's the big gap. That's the strange part to me. The crazy part to me also is that obviously Julius Randle doesn't play game 1, Knicks lose. Jimmy Butler doesn't play game 2, Heat lose. But Julius Randle not playing, no big deal. If you're a Heat fan, big deal. It's Julius Randle. Who gives a shit? Jimmy Butler doesn't play, and it's like, you guys are playing against plumbers and roofers. Jimmy's the whole team. I'm like, dude, stop it, man. Just stop. Stop. You lost. That's it. Because if Jimmy Butler goes down next game, you lose the series, and the Knicks go on to win the freaking finals, God willing. Are you going to sit there and be like, it's because Jimmy Butler didn't play? Fuck Jimmy Butler. Oh, did I tell you I'm on an open Discord with Mekhi Becton for rooting for the Heat?
No.
I'm in an open Discord with Mekhi Becton from the New York Jets because he is a Miami Heat fan. And meanwhile, we got Aaron Rodgers showing up to Knicks games with Alan Lazard and rooting on our New York City Knicks. And then we got Mekhi Becton, the guy who's supposed to be protecting our favorite quarterback.
It doesn't bother me
fucking
one
Heat.
bit.
I hate it. I need him.
Honestly,
we need our players to be simpatico, okay?
It doesn't. You also want your players to be real. You know what I mean? And if let's say by the stroke of a miracle, God himself came down and touched my right arm, and all of a sudden I could throw 99 and paint the corners, and out of nowhere, I'm pitching for the, God forbid, Oakland Athletics or some shit like that, right? And I'm not on the West Coast. Listen, I don't deserve to get paid, right? Or let's go Anaheim Angels, a little bit better pay scale. But you better believe I am not showing up to fucking like a LA Kings game if they were still in the playoffs or made the playoffs, and rooting them on. I'm not. I'm a Rangers fan. Dude, if the team told me like, oh, hey, you have to show up here, I'm showing up in a Rangers jersey and trying to start a fight.
So here's the deal, though. Just stay quiet then.
Now, if you're a diehard fan, let them cheer them on.
Not at all. I'm not going to stand for it.
Listen,
I need my quarterback and my offensive line to be one. All right. I need them to be thinking about each other when they're not together. And they can't be thinking about each other sitting on opposite sides of the fence, man.
You're putting too much on it, dude. If you're a fan
Well,
of the sport,
listen,
right?
I'm blaming Mekhi Becton for us losing game 1, all right?
You think Aaron Rodgers is really a fan?
Doesn't matter. He's simpatico with the fan base.
This is the deal, okay? And our friend Billy, right, is a diehard Devils fan. I'm a diehard Rangers fan. We go back and forth all the time, shit talking each other. You know how much shit talking we did during the first this playoff series that the Rangers lost? 0. We literally played a round of golf the day of the playoff starting, right? Game 1, and we literally said, "Dude, I'll talk to you after a week or so because we're gonna fucking try to kill each other if we say anything." And we respected each other enough to knowing that I know he's a diehard Devils fan. He knows I'm a diehard Rangers fan. We just left it alone and stayed away from each other because there's no reason to ruin the other person's day over it. And our hearts are already on strings. You know, we're wearing it on our sleeves. There's no reason to get nasty about it. But I respect the hell out of a real hockey fan. I can go back and forth and talk, talk the job of hockey with a real hockey fan. You know what I mean? It's like as if Dr. Cox himself, John C. McGinley, came out with his Red Wings jersey and decided to talk hockey with you. You wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're a filthy Red Wings fan." You'd be like, "Holy shit, a real hockey fan. I can talk to this guy. We can relate. We don't like the same teams, but we can relate." And I appreciate fans. So let Mekhi Becton root his ass off for the Heat. Doesn't bother me one bit. I'm more ashamed of people that just show up and throw a jersey on because the camera's on them.
You know what? I'm a person that I love somebody like Nick Mangold, who's on the Jets and became a Rangers fan because he was on the Jets. That to me is like, we're here, okay? Because I met Dave Coulier, who is a diehard Red Wings fan. And what did I say to Dave Coulier? We lost to the Red Wings like the day before yesterday. Matter of fact, you said it too, and you're like, "I fucking blame Dave Coulier for this shit." So, you were like, "I blame Johnny C and fucking Dave Coulier for us losing to the fucking Red Wings," and now you're gonna sit here and stand up for them. I'm blaming Mekhi Becton. I'm blaming Mekhi Becton on Sunday.
I will always stand up for a real fan because I respect real fans. You know me, I hate bandwagon people. All right, dude, you fucking hate it too. All right, cut the shit. How many times? How many girls that hung out with our baseball team were fucking Patriots fans because they love Tom Brady? And we're like, all right, name one other player on the Pats. Bill Belichick. It's like, that's the coach. Good try though.
I hear what you're saying, but when Knicks players show up to the Garden wearing Rangers jerseys, I love it, and vice versa too. I love it. Okay,
that's different. You're playing in the same house. You kind of have to.
That's not different, but talk. Let's back to the Knicks. Back to the Knicks. I do like this team. I just wish they were healthy. I do like Jalen Brunson a lot. All right, I like Hart a lot. I even like Julius. Julius and we had a bit of a cantankerous relationship for a little bit, where Julius was kind of giving us the Mets treatment, where he was booing the fans that were booing him. But you know what? It's all love. We want you to do your best. We want you out there. We want you doing your best because I think people forget, like, the team represents the city, and New Yorkers are passionate about New York. And that's why we are the way we are. We're very passionate about where we're from. Like, it's a very large part of our identity. So we're always rooting for the Knicks because the Knicks represent New York. The Knicks are New York, and we haven't touched that brass ring in such a long time, but god damn it, we want it. We want it so badly.
Somebody needs to do it.
Go fucking Knicks. But I think that's all we got for this week's episode. A lot of coverage. Thank you to Gino for coming on and being a part of the show. Thank you for TJ coming on and being a part of the show.
I didn't even get to my whiskey. Say lovey. I'll just drink it by myself.
Poor guy. We'll look for that. Look for that short later on in the week. We'll have that short for this week's whiskey of the week. TJ, what's this week's whiskey of the week?
Actually, let's just throw it since I'm not doing it one here, and I'll sidebar that for next week. But I just threw up a review. I just reviewed Stag, formerly Stag Jr. from Buffalo Trace. So you can check that up on the YouTubes. Give us a like, subscribe, comment. Absolutely lambaste me for my shit palate. It's fine. I'm cool with it. Other than that, I think gonna have some nice content to come. As much as I can get, going to Scotland this weekend, playing St. Andrew's Old Course, doing a little golfing with my brother, my cousin, my two cousins actually. So looking forward to that, and hopefully being allowed back in this country, because I have the kind of suspicion that once I'm out, they might be like, no, don't let him back in. We got rid of him. He fucking stays out there.
And that being said, that brings our show to an end. We'll catch you again next week. Like, share, and subscribe.